Quad City Sports Talk Radio Show. We're not the Quad City Sports Talk Radio Show. We are your Quad City Sports Talk Radio Show. Welcome to the conversation, Quad Cities. But first, the Dawn. Good afternoon, Quad Cities. I say good, tongue-in-cheek. I mean, it's raining. We're in the middle of a quarantine type of situation. I mean, you're not really in the middle of quarantine, but we very possibly could be on our way if you ask Bomber.
We are.
Bomber's in studio. Sam from Big Grove is in here.
Hello.
Sam, it's good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, good to see you guys.
I think last week when we said we're just going to talk a bunch of nonsense, you're like, that's it, I'm bringing beer, and you sure did, and you brought one of my favorites. Sam's from Big Grove. He brought Color TV, which is easily one of my favorites.
It's maybe one of the best. It's certainly one of the most popular beers that we make every year, and definitely one of the best.
It is very, very good. So that leads to a good question about Big Grove, because Color TV is the type of beer that you have to buy at Big Grove, right?
Usually. This is the first time that it's ever going out into the market, into the stores in cans.
Are you saying we can thank coronavirus for something?
You can thank it for something, yeah.
This is the first time you can't, usually Color TV you have to buy.
It's only at the brewery. This was planned on limited market release anyway, so.
No, let's stick to that. You guys change everything for the coronavirus. Yeah.
Now, there are probably going to be some things changed because of that would be only brewery that we'll try to get out to the market. But, I love this beer so much.
Yeah, and I do too, and that's why
it looks citrusy.
It's double dry hopped New England IPA with Galaxy hops.
That's the key.
Yeah, that's the key. The Galaxy hops are a type of hop that are very, very popular and thus very expensive because the demand for them is so high. So that's why we don't make a lot of this beer, and we don't make it very often either, just because it's pricey to make.
What are Galaxy hops?
Just a different type of hop. They do
like a name brand hop versus like a generic brand hop.
Just a different strain, basically.
Okay, I need to brush up on my knowledge with
There's so many different hops.
With the hops.
Yeah,
that's cool.
No, but it's fantastic, and that's the thing. And so we were talking off the air, Sam, and your off-premise accounts would be considered your grocery stores, right?
Yes.
And so 7G has been upping the delivery there 3 times a week instead of 2 because we can't go through a drought like that. So we got to keep those shelves stocked.
Yeah, they're doing their best. It's weird times that we're in, and certainly with all the bars being closed now, it's people are heading out to the grocery store more. So there's a lot of beer being flooded out into the store as much as people can handle, which I guess we'll see how much people can handle over the next couple of months here.
I give them a C- so far.
What do you mean? How people are handling, or
yeah? Have you been to the grocery store lately?
All right. So let me tell you. Let me tell you a story about yesterday. Over the weekend, my family was in Downers Grove. That's where my in-laws live, right? And over the weekend, I said I'm going to the grocery store. Now, it doesn't matter when I go to the grocery store. Although I say I'm going at 6 to avoid lines, doesn't mean by myself I have to go at 6. Well, on Sunday, when I hadn't gone at 6, the message was, didn't go to the grocery store yet? And I was like, it doesn't matter when I go. But if you need anything, this is to my wife, if you need anything, please give me a list of things.
Sure.
Because I'm going to go. I'll deal with it.
Yeah.
I'm going, and it was like 9:30 in the morning, but still, any line I'll deal with. I didn't get up at 6 o'clock and go. I mean, so.
That's pretty early.
Yeah. And then at some point in the afternoon, I get a text, it's like 2:30, that it was like a list of things to get at the grocery store. Mind you, it was 5.5 hours later.
Yeah.
And it was all like booze. Like, here's the beer, here's the champagne, get the wine, this and that. I'm like, I already went, but I can go back. She's like, no. Well, the next day, she wasn't feeling too well, not the coronavirus. But she just said, like, can you grab me ginger ale? Now we're Sunday, now we're on Monday. Mm-hmm. Okay. We could have got this yesterday, but going on. You want to pick up any booze while we're there? No, I don't feel well, just ginger ale.
Yeah.
Yesterday came into that, we need to do a few things for St. Patrick's Day at home. Can you swing by the store? And I was like, seriously, get a list.
How many days in a row is this now?
That was 3 in a row that I went to the store. Get a list now.
Your daily trip, man.
Yeah, I know. So we were there yesterday. We got to see the shelves of all the meat that's gone and everything else.
Right.
So
frozen food section's gone.
Yeah.
All of it's gone. Thank God. I looked at the diaper. Formula's gone. Thank God my kids aren't at that age. You worry about those parents.
But you don't need disposable diapers. You can survive.
Oh, for sure. But we're so accustomed we're so pampered in our society that people don't know how to adjust to, being in a situation where we don't have access to all of our luxury items. So bottled water's gone.
Why?
Bottled water's gone.
There's one I'm never gonna figure out.
Never.
I don't know. There's a lot of things I'll never figure out about. The
I'm
things
still drinking tap water.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm not gonna figure out the bottled water thing at all.
I don't get it.
And not even if you're like, well, I really like Mio and I put it in my bottled water. Like, no, you can do that in the tap water just as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shout
the
out
only
to
thing I
Mio.
can think of is when I have babies and they were formula fed, is I use purified water to make their bottles. But that's jugs. That's not, a case of 48 bottled water. So I don't know. I don't understand that. And the toilet paper I don't really understand either.
No, that was frustrating. So this weekend, my wife and I realized, we're almost out of toilet paper. Like, we actually do need to go buy some.
Yeah.
We went to no more than 4 stores before we finally found at one of the Hy-Vees that they had, basically 10 packages left. And I'm like, we're not going to be those people that buy all 10. We're not going to do it.
You can't do that. Walmart had them and they were handing them out. You'd have seen in line. And there was a gentleman handing them to each. Yep, here you go. One for you, one for you.
Wow.
Never thought in my life I'd be standing in line to get toilet paper. Ever.
No. But, I suggest if you go out there, and you like a good beer, treat yourself. Get some Big Grove and enjoy it.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to do that.
Sign up for your Netflix party or something. I don't know.
Booze is one thing I haven't gotten yet. I haven't stocked up on that, and that's definitely a necessity.
Yeah, it's gonna get you through.
It's gonna help.
I've been meaning to do daily, just writing down kind of my experiences during all this, because each day that passes, I'm starting to realize this is not something that's just going to affect the next couple of weeks, couple of months.
That's fair.
I think that our experiences are going to be something that in 50 years we're going to be talking about how this affected us.
Well, that's the thing, because now we're on day 7, and every day is something new. So it's kind of like you wake up and I'm just waiting to see what they're gonna throw our way today. Who knows? Now if the breaking news is good news that they're going to send us all money, well, okay, that's great. This isn't the first time in this history this happened.
Right.
So let's keep that in mind. Not everyone got it in 2008 when they did it during the recession, but it's something that's they're trying to pass. So that's good news, but it is something that's going to affect from here on out. It really is. A week ago we were saying it, and I said, all right, if they've cut out, it'd be more than a week ago, but if they cut out the post-game media, meaning when you go to the locker room, 17 guys around one locker, just putting a microphone.
Yeah.
So, I think they're going to go, this is before everything was canceled. I said, I think this is changing the way it's going to go on from now. Instead, they'll just put big media rooms and, maybe you get your question and maybe you don't. But there's also other things. There's going to be some businesses that look at this and say, wait, we could work at home the entire time? We don't have to have conferences?
That's a great point.
We didn't have to go to a big conference center to all meet?
All the things that could have been a meeting are now going to be a meeting, a virtual meeting. Like email that could have been a meeting, that saying?
Yeah.
Or a meeting that could have been an email.
Yes, there you go. Yeah.
Backwards. Now we're going to find out that everything could be handled that way.
Yeah, you've learned how to do your job or whatever else to do that, over to get a hold of people. They're going to look at that and say, wait a minute, what happened? Is this going to affect bars? Now, not restaurants, because you're still going to go out, you're going to enjoy your time, you're going to take your family out. But what about restaurants? What if now all of a sudden you're like, I connected to a good book, and now I'm starting a book club, and that's what I'm going to do. I am going to enjoy wine, and I'm going to stay at home, and I'm going to watch a book.
Do you think that's what we need, though? I think we're already social distancing with social media and things like that. There's already that blocking between, or that personal interaction. We don't have that as much as we used to. When we were growing up, kids are already going to grow up differently. So now, because of this, you think it's going to...
Now, I say this, and don't get me wrong, as critical as I can be of social media and everything, I say this very much so. Social distancing, I get it. Social media distancing might be the necessity.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I've realized that, normally I'm very busy during the day, and so it's I don't really catch up on social media until kind of at the end of the day, and I'll kind of see what happened and see what people have been talking about. And my days have been a little slower, that's for sure. Or I've had more access to just like check the news, because it's like there's constantly something happening, and all of a sudden you realize it's just like you've just wasted wasted time, and B, put yourself in this weird headspace of like just kind of an anxiety ridden feeling where you're just like, what's going to happen?
That's kind of what you said, that this is going to affect the psychology of these people more than anything else.
Oh, absolutely.
The anxiety of that. That's why I have convinced myself I'm not panicking. I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to stress about it. My kids, then they're fine because of it too. Like, we just stocked up on activities. We're not going to freak out about it.
Yeah.
You can't. And if you freak out, then it's like it's contagious. No pun intended. Other people are going to freak out. Like the panic buying with the toilet paper.
Right.
Somebody saw somebody do that, and then they did it. Monkey see, monkey do.
I think for me, when in the conversation that was had in our home, when it was like, "What's going on?" Like, you're off, and I'm like, I just don't know what's going to happen today. And then it really took me, I don't know, maybe about 90 minutes, 120 minutes to be like, when I was showering, getting ready for today, I was like, well, I can't fall into this where I just wake up and turn on the TV and feel like a panic about what's going to happen today.
Yeah, no.
So it's like I have to change things. Now, what do I want to do? Do I want to, the gym closed. Do I want to like go to a prison workout style in the morning at 5 o'clock? Maybe. Do I want to start writing at 5 o'clock to come up with some type of content? Maybe, but something's got to change to change my daily. I mean, it's a fight or flight, right?
Yeah.
In this situation.
It's one of my favorite things is fight or flight.
And it's real easy to crawl up in a ball.
It defines who you are.
Yeah.
I think.
And anybody can. And again, first things first. I'll tell you this, and this is in full disclosure, the honest goodness truth. I think it was 2 years ago, I went to the doctor, went for XYZ, and said, I have anxiety. And they gave me some anxiety pills, all right? Those things were so strong that if you look at the symptoms later, it can put you into a depression. Mm-hmm. And it was a depression I've never had before. Yeah. So for people who actually are dealing with this daily, I can't imagine what they go with. This was a medication that I had to go say, I need to be taken off of this. And here's why. And the doctor's saying, like, well, what, you just Google the symptoms. I'm like, but they're there. And I'm telling you, this is the way I'm feeling.
Sure.
And I can't imagine that way, that people that are depressed, compounded with this. Mm-hmm. And then you can't lie about that weather like this doesn't make you go, oh, this sucks.
Right.
Because you just want to go, because like you said, you find things to do, Bomber. Me too. Like yesterday, I went home. We were in the backyard. We were with the dog, outside with the dog for an hour and a half because we talked about yesterday. They're not going to tell me not to go outside.
Right.
But now today, you're like,
can't go outside. Now we're like double stacked against us. Right. Totally.
But I see that people are trying to come up with things. There's local artists that are playing music. There's people that are coming up with like doing their own shows. I did post on there like, if you want to create content, I'm all for it. I've said this a long time ago too. I love you, Quad Cities. I'm born and raised here. I love it to death. Over 3 years ago, when we started the podcast, I said, listen, something about this area, if something starts trending on the East Coast, it's going to go all the way to Chicago, it's going to jump over here, it's going to hit San Francisco and come back 3 years later. Mm-hmm. Now, podcasts, and if you follow your social media here in the Quad Cities, a lot of people like, I just listen to this podcast, give me recommendations. Now there's going to be content. Mm-hmm. And people are trying. If you want to put something together, and you want to do it right, contact our guys at Done Right. All right? They'll get a hold of you. They'll do things like a Sling Studio or whatnot and get you up and running. If you want to do a podcast, contact me. We can put something together. Doesn't mean you have to turn around and just be like, oh, how much is it going to cost me to set up? Let's figure it out.
Right.
Let's figure out what works for you, or even any advice I can give you of what to do. We can start to doing something, but if you think there's content out there that you want to do, go ahead and do it. I think it's fantastic. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing: is if you're going to do it, make sure it's good, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
There's going to be so much more out there that you better research it and contact those guys and talk to the people who know what they're doing. Yeah, and make sure it's done right.
You have to offer something that every other podcast doesn't offer as well. You can't just you can't parrot other podcasts. You have to have something individual. Something that makes you stand out.
Well, and that's the other thing. You have to always change anything you're doing. That's why reaching out to people like Sam or Bomber or Tom's going to be in later from Hawkeye Report or Brian, you can only take yourself so far. You need the give and take of people that are with you in the conversation.
Multifaceted.
Again, yeah. there's a lot of people out there that can't handle a give and take conversation because they want to scream and yell at their point. Or maybe that's just what they do with the keyboard. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I doubt they're like that real person, but I have no idea.
We all know
So,
those people.
yeah. But again, there are some things yesterday, and we get to take a look at that when we come back. Tom Brady's no longer a Patriot. Less than 12 hours after his announcement, news broke that he intends to sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We can take a look at that. It is a crazy place for him to go. But we'll look at some things, especially from CBS Sports HQ, why they say that's a good place, and other people why they think Tom Brady is a good place for him to land. Kevin Durant tested positive for COVID-19.
Saw that, yeah.
He's one of 4 Nets players who tested positive for the coronavirus, bringing the total number of positive tests among NBA players to 7. So those 4, including Utah's Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, plus Detroit's Christian Wood. The thing about this is the Nets had players tested by a private company, and the team did pay out of pocket. The Thunder has secured the Oklahoma City Thunder has secured test kits through alternative means, per the New York Times. So the federal guidelines for all testing still prioritize people who are showing symptoms, but the alternative sources supplying NBA teams were willing to make an exception, writes the Axios to Sam Baker. So, I mean, again, one of those things where all of a sudden ears perk up, like, oh, wait a minute, Tom Hanks,
Right.
Yeah, Kevin Durant, so
that Irish guy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's, but there's so many people walking around that aren't, they're asymptomatic. They don't have symptoms. So I just saw something today, and it was like, don't freak out because testing is becoming more available to more people. So we're going to see a spike in positive numbers, but those positives are still out there right now. They're just not tested. So when that happens, I mean, expect it. It's inevitable because the more testing we do, the more positives we're going to have. It's just the way it is. That doesn't mean anything. There's so many people out there that have it, and you can't tell.
And then,
like Iris guy, he said, I have nothing. I don't even have a cough.
Yeah.
But he
Well,
tested
I think
positive.
Donovan Mitchell in the NBA, I don't think he had. He kind of went online to tell people to take it seriously, and he's like, look, I don't have symptoms, but I tested positive.
yeah,
So.
the 4 players of the Nets, the last team the Nets played were the LA Lakers. The LA Lakers are on self-quarantine for 14 days. 25 years ago, Michael Jordan announced his return to the NBA after 17-month retirement with his 2-word phrase, I'm back. In his first 17-month regular season games, his first, remember, after returning, Jordan averaged a remarkable 27, 7, and 5 in 39 minutes a night. He took the Bulls from 34 to 31 when he came over to a 47-35 record and a first-round playoff win, but they did fall to Shaquille O'Neal, Penny Hardaway, and the Magic in the next round. The Book of MJ, which, by the way, again, it was said last week, it's been hinted at that the 10-part series, the 30 for 30, the final year, whatever it's called, of Michael Jordan and the 96 Bulls is supposed to be released a little bit earlier, which wouldn't surprise me at all. I said that last week that I was like, it's in the works. They're not going to wait till June for this.
There's a big push for it, for sure.
Yeah, the ESPN's like,
we got a captive audience.
We're doing this.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I will. And last week when I talked to it, I would have told you when they did, and I did say it, when they announced it a year ago, I was like, what's everyone so geeked out about this for, And I'm like, what? It's MJ. And I was like, all right. It's still going to be, it's going to be cool, but
it's going to be
not that. And now am I going to, but yes, you need content now. And now I'm like, yep, must-see TV. Every time.
Yeah.
Top of the
If
list.
I was ESPN, I'd be like, nope, 7 o'clock. We're running it. It's not going to be on Plus. It's not going to be on The Deuce. It's not going to be on any of these.
Right.
This is the time when we are not replaying it. Just watch it. Just go through.
Yeah.
And by the way, they probably owe a lot of money to a lot of sponsors for games that they're not showing right now. So that would be smart. And I'm sure sponsors are knocking on their door. Looking at the Book of MJ, the first chapter, Jordan led the Bulls to the NBA's first three-peat in 91 to 93 since Bill Russell's Celtics won 8 in a row 3 decades earlier. His first retirement saw him go to play baseball in the White Sox farm system, but he never advanced past Double-A ball. So when he came back, in his first 3 seasons back, Jordan led the Bulls to another three-peat, playing in all 246 regular season games and averaging 40-plus minutes and 30-plus points per game during all 3 postseason runs.
That's crazy.
7 months after winning his 6th NBA title, MJ retired again leaving his mark on Chicago as a legendary title-winning shot over Utah's Byron Russell. And then, a year after retiring, Jordan joined the Wizards as part owner and later as a player for his final 2 NBA seasons. His best game as a Wizard came in December 2001 when he dropped 51 on Charlotte. Again, when you said that's crazy, what's weirder, Brady on the Bucks or Jordan on the Wizards?
Oh, I hated Jordan on the Wizards. Did you? That was
right.
Are you old enough to remember that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but I think
It was. Oh,
in some ways I feel like Brady on the Bucks would be weirder
I don't know.
because Jordan had kind of left and come back, but yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. Now
Tom Brady went to the Super Bowl basically like 50% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
50% of the years
Yeah,
he's been in the league,
true.
almost, he's
That's
been in the
true.
Super Bowl.
Right. I don't know. Now we just hate the Buccaneers now instead of the Patriots. That's all there is to it.
How can you hate the Buccaneers?
I kind of feel good for him.
It's like the winningest team. It's the winningest team of the Patriots to the losingest team in the.
No, that would be the
1976.
Bears.
No, it's in '76. I got that.
Bears, I'd be a little.
Well, let's take a look some more why maybe Tom Brady is picking Tampa Bay, supposedly 2 years for $30 million, and we'll look at some of the other NBA movements when we come back.
There's no tax. That's why.
But first, there you go. But first, I want to remind you, Bayside Bistro in the Village of East Davenport is doing curbside pickup, and you can find them on your delivery apps as well. Especially remember, if you have things like your gluten-free or your plant-based diet that you're using right now, this is the type of place that you can find that in. Everything is made from scratch. You won't find deli meat in their menu. They use fresh ingredients all their orders they take from you. They make it in their kitchen, and then they will deliver curbside now.
Nice.
So from paninis like the Bayside Po' Boy to the roasted beet and green bean salad, Bayside Bistro has an incredible menu that specializes in deliciousness. While you're there, while you're picking up stuff, order a smoothie. Maybe get some popcorn made for your Netflix get-togethers. That's at 1105 Christie Street in the Village of East Davenport. Go ahead and go to their Facebook page and read their over 500 recommendations from guests and get a hold of them. Remember, they are locally owned, and that's something we need to keep pushing, not to take anything away from any of those larger franchises, but for right now, we need to also remember the locally owned places, and I think later on in the show we'll have more word with how locally owned businesses can work with us and we can support you guys. We might have something in the works, but I don't know if the announcement will happen today on this show. We'll be right back. Don't Hassle us for Local on ESPN 1170.
This is Lobo from Lobo Salsa. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
ESPN 1170 AM.
At Casey's, we're here for
I got somebody's on there asking, what's going on with the Fields Piece of Shows?
Well, that's the thing.
Did you talk to them?
I messaged them and said, give me a call or whatever else.
Yeah.
No one got a hold of me, but that's fine. I'll get a hold of them. After what I wrote about
Now at Casey's, buy one large pizza, get one half off.
get a hold of Dunright. Like he already had people talking to him about some things, but
Casey's,
he's like, all right, I got people that are asking. He's like, he's got an idea.
Store for details.
I think the idea will be to basically do like a recap show, basically like our own Paul Sands Live, but we'll do it on businesses. And I said, well, listen, we all got to get paid somehow. We got to figure out.
From sales to service, auto body to parts, Sexton also has a strong bench of mildly used vehicles too.
That was earlier. Are you looking at his comment?
Yeah.
I didn't say anything.
Just wrote out Mike.
That was yesterday. Or not yesterday.
See, we're intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Roy, who is feeling older every day, and I think this is universal for people in sports, that you sort of can calendar your own age by guys you saw growing up playing when you loved sports, having kids who are now playing sports. But Roy has never felt older than he did during the break when, very sadly, he just said to me, Frank Gore's kid has enrolled at Southern Miss, and it's the first time you can remember an active athlete of any sort having a kid, but it's only because Frank Gore has been in the league 4 yards at a time since 1982.
He's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere.
Why would you when you still get 4 yards?
Frank Gore Jr. is going to put it on the poll, Antonio. Is Frank Gore Jr. going to retire from football sooner than Frank Gore Sr.?
The Dan Le Batard Show, 9 till noon on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
Don't settle for the aggravation of sunken concrete around your home or business. Call Top Notch Mudjacking to fix your uneven concrete. Let us raise those sections that can cause unnecessary wear and tear to your vehicles at a fraction of the cost. We also offer joint and crack sealing to prolong the life of your concrete. Servicing residential, commercial, and industrial areas. We offer warranty, senior, and military discounts, and free estimates. Check us out online. Top-notch mud jacking. Don't settle. Jack it up.
The Will Kane Show.
Joe Judge became head coach of the New York Giants. As I walked up today in the hallways, Mike A gave me that good to see you smile, but it's more like a wince because Nuno was nearby. We weren't really worried about anger so much as hurt feelings.
It was an apologetic look, like you'd see when you know somebody's had a rough day, like, how you holding up, big guy? How you doing, champ?
Wait a minute. We're all about honesty here. No one's like that. We want to see each other miserable. Like, that's what everyone was hoping for, is that I would be miserable, because it would have just been great for the show, right? Like, I would have to produce the show, and on a Monday after Jason Garrett's just sitting here clapping away, and then I can't even speak.
And just out of curiosity, not for any personal interest of mine or Mike A's or Bubba's, how miserable are you?
The Will Kane Show, 2 till 5 on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
Is your kitchen or bathroom embarrassing? You need them redone. But do you know a contractor that you could trust? You need an all-star. You need to call Mike at All-Star Home Services. Mike and his team have been transforming kitchens and bathrooms for over 15 years. Call today for $500 off your complete kitchen or bath project. Plus, with financing available, get your kitchen or bath done today for one low monthly payment. Call 563-299-3786 or at all-starhomeservices.com.
Never miss a thing with the ESPN 1170 app. Listen live from anywhere in the world and be notified when news breaks. This is the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
We are back on ESPN 1170. Don't hassle us for local. Waiting for our friend Tom Kaker to join us from Hawkeye Report. But before that, we get to take a look at some of the free agency moves. We talked about Tom Brady and maybe why his choice to go to Tampa Bay. Again, we agree it's a little strange, but hey, it is what it is. It happens, right? So it's supposed to be a 2-year deal worth $30 million each. And John Breach of CBSSports.com broke down why it makes sense from both sides. Obviously, we know Tampa Bay has the offensive weapons. Players like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate are some of the weapons that they have there. Evans and Godwin finished last year with more receiving yards than the Patriots' top 5 receivers combined.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yes. The salary cap space.
Yes.
The Bucks have enough cap space to not only give Brady the $30 million per year he wanted, but to also add additional pieces that make the team even stronger, like maybe Melvin Gordon that we talked about yesterday, the Chargers running back. You can go after him.
Free agent, right?
Yeah. You got Bruce Arians, a coach who wants to win, likes to win, and desperate to win. All right, and he's somewhat known as quarterback whisperer, but I don't know if Brady needs. Quarterback whisperer. Instead, you probably need someone who's like, "Hey, can I run some ideas through you?" No, okay.
Right.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom, I'm good. And here's
They're
the
not
other
gonna
one.
Know how to take him.
Here's the other, and this is the one thing I don't think anybody would be ever this vain, but it's still strange to think about.
Who?
The Super Bowl is in Tampa this year, and never in the history as a team in the NFL won the Super Bowl when they've hosted it.
Look at you.
I don't think anybody's that vain.
I think if there is anybody that vain, it's Brady.
That's got to be pretty coincidental. I mean, you wouldn't base your whole decision. What if the Super Bowl was in Chicago? He's not going to the Bears,
I don't. Well, Brady. It's Brady. I don't know. I don't really believe in coincidences that often. I don't think, and he's one of those premeditated mofos. So I could see him doing it.
It's everything with him is definitely very planned out and prepared.
Yes, exactly.
For sure. Yeah.
Exactly, like that commercial where he's standing at the field with the shadows behind him.
But that was a commercial,
so
and then they did
dramatic.
An Instagram post.
And then we find out later that he was leaving. Come on, that was all premeditated and planned out.
Well, do you remember, was it a couple of years ago with the commercial where he was going to the bank for the safety deposit box, and he dropped off his 5 rings, but the commercial that appeared right after they won that 6th one was like, oh wait, I got one more. So he planned that out pretty well.
Oh,
He gets it. He gets it.
Well, for as much as like if everything were normal on the outside, and we'd be like, oh, the Tom Brady, God bless him for doing it. Right. You know, so it's quite all right. Phillip Rivers heading to the Colts. That one kind of was one that we didn't really think that was too much like a hot topic. It was kind of like a done deal. He was going to go there. He had he signed a 1-year deal roughly for $25 million. The offensive coordinator, Nick Sirianni, had 5 seasons as offensive assistant at Chargers, and Frank Reich was the Chargers offensive coordinator for 2 years as well. So he'll have a decent line going in there. We'll see how that goes. But, you know, he has comes with some things. He's 38 years old. He did have just an 88 passer rating last year, and he had 20 interceptions, which were the third most in the NFL. And then where does Cam Newton go? Dun, dun, dun.
That might be the Bears.
Yep.
Actually, didn't he date Kardashian?
I don't know that.
Yeah, you're looking at two people that definitely don't know.
I don't know it either, but I've they've dated everybody in the NFL, so why not Cam Newton? He's a good-looking dude, though.
The Carolina Panthers.
You could definitely get a Kardashian.
Agreed to a 3-year deal, $64 million for Teddy Bridgewater. They granted Newton permission to seek a trade, which in turn, he kind of just took that as a slap in the face that, they just don't want me. He didn't say, like, great, I'm going to do it. He's like, what?
What is he looking for?
Well, they got to find a trade. Either they can cut him and save $19 million on salary cap, but or I think maybe 16, and then but he's about 90. What they have to do is find something equivalent to that. Now, what is Cam Newton worth is a good question.
That's what I was going to ask.
The Bears don't have much.
No,
they don't have much to trade as far as draft.
But you might not need much either, because it's like he's kind of
they can just wait for him to
damaged goods, so to speak.
The Bears could cut him. They could wait for him to cut. No, they could wait for him to cut him. And I think we looked at the salary cap when the season was going on, and they could do the likes of cutting Cordarrelle Patterson, and they would be right around the same thing. So, but to be honest with you, as much as everything's going on, they could have cut Cordarrelle Patterson anyway already. Yeah. But I'm just saying, back then I was looking at their contracts and their salary cap and what they could do. Again, Cody Benjamin, CBSSports.com, has ranked 4 possible landing spots for Cam Newton. The Bears are listed as number 1.
For Cam Newton, really?
Yeah. The Redskins, number 2. So even though they put it on Dwayne Haskins, but Ron Rivera did coach Newton in Carolina. New England Patriots, maybe.
It feels like Newton's going to be kind of that bridge quarterback. A team that's looking to draft someone, but they don't want to throw that person in right away. Have Cam Newton while that quarterback kind of sits in the wings. I don't know.
They like Jarrett Stidham, so supposedly, I don't know. Mm-hmm. And the Chargers. And don't the Chargers make the most sense?
For Cam, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big name. L.A., they need a big name there. Yeah. They don't put anyone in the stands.
Who wants to live in L.A., though?
What?
Right now, there's needles and feces everywhere.
What? You say the same thing about San Francisco. Is that
because it's legal in both places. I joke, but in all seriousness,
is that what the tourism board is really pushing these days?
Yeah. Yes. That's what, exactly. Chamber of Commerce, like,
I joke, but seriously, I feel bad for everybody that lives there. That's terrible.
And then other things, looking at Saints signed Drew Brees. Good sign for them, I would assume. Those are some of the things from day 2 that happened in the NFL. But we're going to bring in studio Tom Kakert. Cakes?
What's happening?
Hi, Tom.
It's been a while.
Guys.
How have you been? Have you ever met Sam from Big Grove?
I have not.
I don't think so. Would you like a beer?
Welcome.
I could use about 15 of them.
Mm-hmm. There's some Bud Light seltzer over here as well.
No, I'm driving, so
yeah.
I'm driving. I've taken a vow. So
a vow of.
What do you mean you're driving tonight? Where are you guys leaving
town?
No.
I'm driving today.
Oh,
so.
You give up beer for Lent?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right. It's been a while.
Driving.
Yeah, good for you. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
You've been busy.
It's been a Boy, just think about how I was thinking about this last night, just how our world has changed so drastically in the last 7 days. 7 days feels like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Can I interrupt you for just 1 second?
Yeah.
No, I apologize. As soon as I'm smart enough to figure out where these hot buttons keys would be, I wish someone would figure this out for me. Here we go.
What's
Ready?
happening? Oh, there we go.
The Bears have just traded.
Oh, God.
Breaking
Mitch Trubisky, please.
For Nick Foles.
No.
Oh, God.
Really?
No.
So bad.
For a fourth
Mitch
round
for Nick?
pick.
That he's not even worth a pick.
A fourth round pick, Tom. The Bears have just traded for him, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Ugh.
Oh, boy.
As you know, I'm a lifelong diehard Bears fan, and this disheartens me. I'd rather have Mitch.
Well, if anybody's smart, wouldn't you wait till you've clinched the playoffs and then you trade for Nick Foles? Isn't that how it's supposed to go, right?
He's only worth something in the Super Bowl or in the playoffs.
Fourth round pick.
Ugh.
Well,
Oh, boy.
there you go. Someone's going to push Mitch. Anyway, so there's your breaking news. The Chicago Bears, Nick Foles, fourth round pick. Again, I apologize.
Is he gonna really challenge Mitch?
Better than Chase Daniels?
Yeah, but I'd rather have them take a chance on somebody like Cam Newton.
I bet you want that beer now, huh?
Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, somebody. Andy Dalton would have been better.
Bueller.
I know they're already out there, but the Nick Foles and Napoleon Dynamite memes are now just going to become stronger in this area on social media because of Vikings and Packer fans. So, cool. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's getting weirder, see? Everything.
So
the GM Pace has got the coronavirus. He's making weird deals.
God,
All right,
somebody
so-
quarantine him.
like you were saying, and yes, in the past week, it is.
I just
crazy.
remember last Wednesday, I'm driving over to Indianapolis to cover the Iowa game on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd left a little later. So I'm just driving over, and I'm starting to get all these alerts, and then just about an hour out from Indy or so, and NBA's canceling their season. Rudy Gobert, and I was like, I just kind of and then some of my friends who were at the Big Ten tournament game that night, they were texting me. They're like, Fred Hoiberg looks terrible.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, they're going to cancel this though. We're going to wake up in the morning and they're going to just say, we're done here. And they didn't. So I went to Bankers Life Fieldhouse on Thursday and got there. Iowa was scheduled to play the second game. So I get there about 10 minutes before the first game, before they started the hour clock before tip-off. I was going to get some lunch there and just kind of, watch some, see the spectacle of a game that didn't have fans in the stands, essentially didn't have fans in the stands, and see what that's like, kind of get a feel for what we're going to witness here. And so I'm standing out on the court, and I took a picture of just the empty arena, and then Michigan comes trotting out, and those kids are all excited. They're like, yeah. And so, one of the kids was doing like a fake raise the roof after
Get the crowd
trying to get playing to the crowd that wasn't there. And I'm like, this will be okay. These kids are going to have fun. And Rutgers was right behind me, and they're come out to the floor, and they were excited. I went to the back, put my backpack down, flipped open my computer, got that going, got the Wi-Fi hooked up, talking to a couple of other sports writers. A kid sitting across from me, younger guy from Michigan, because Michigan and Rutgers were playing that first game, and he's with their sports information department. He's looking at his phone, and he goes, guys, our SID is out on the court, and they just pulled the guys off the floor. This is literally like 5 minutes time frame. I was like, we're done. I started walking out to the court, saw some other guys from Iowa that were just arriving, and I said, we're not playing. And they're like, what? And I was like, oh.
Crazy.
So I hit the turn, and Mike Grimm, who's the voice of the Gophers, native Iowan, great guy, great friend, holds up his phone to me, and he goes, they just canceled the tournament. And I was like, wow. and walk out to the court, and it's just kind of weird. And then they're telling us to get off the court. So I'm thinking, your immediate thought was, is something wrong?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're just did something happen?
Anything's possible now. You never know.
Yeah, you just never know. And then we just go to the back, and Commissioner Warren, how about that for an introduction? Your first Big Ten tournament, and this is what happens, and you're canceling everything. Cancel culture gone wild, and you know, we're probably not taking all the steps we have if sports didn't go away. You know, even Mark Emmert, the NCAA guy, said if Rudy Gobert hadn't tested positive for coronavirus, we'd probably still been playing.
Really?
Yeah, he said that in an interview. You know, we would have probably still been, you know, going ahead, just empty arenas, but it was just a matter of time. And then, you know, you look at it from the logisticals, or from the math standpoint. Eventually, somebody was going to test, and that's in the tournament. Then all the teams that were in that region can't play. I mean, it just would have screwed it up. So it's where we are, and now it's crazy. It's so weird because Thursday. So then basically wrote our stories, and they kicked us out of that arena after about an hour. So we went back to the hotel. The poor hotel people. God,
that's what I was going to ask you. What was that like?
So when I got to the hotel, I ran into some Michigan State people, and they had come obviously for the tournament, and they were fans. And I go, "You guys here for the tournament, huh?" And he goes, "Yeah." He was pissed. He was rude to me, and I was like, "I feel so bad for him." And he goes, "Yeah, whatever."
What?
And I was like,
because you're not wearing your Hawkeye gear.
I'm not wearing anything.
And he just,
I just said, I'm just there to cover. And he goes, "Well, at least you'll get to go." And just stomped off.
Because he thought the fans only, but he didn't know the whole cancel thing. Right?
Well, it wasn't to that point yet. That was Wednesday night when I arrived.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we went back to the hotel, and so I'm talking to the.
At least you'll get to go.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the people at the hotel at the desk, and they were like, "Yeah, we were at 90% occupancy for this weekend, and now we're at 30."
Wow.
And I'm like, I said, "I'm really sorry. I'm going home. There's no point in me.
Yeah.
I love Indianapolis. It's a great city. A lot of things to do, but it's just no point. I'm going home and hang out with my wife and kids."
Yeah. Tom, I got to interrupt you real quick. We got a phone call.
Yes.
ESPN 1170. Who we got?
Kelly, what's up, buddy?
Yo, Kelly from Dunright.
Hey,
I
what's going on?
Nothing. I kind of left something on on the Facebook a little bit, kind of alluding to something we talked about. But I tell me again what your idea is that we should do with the possibility of Sling Studio, Dunright, and us.
Well, I've been thinking a lot about it, and thanks for the post last night.
Mm-hmm.
And we're actually pretty busy right now. But what I was thinking is, how cool would it be to go to different places? I do have an RV. I do have it set up with internet, TV, and everything, and it's like a mobile studio. So I thought, how cool would it be to go support local restaurants, local businesses, and do like a curbside? I was thinking it was going to be called like curbside with Kelly, but then after I thought about it with you, we could do curbside with KJ, Kelly and Jay.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Yeah.
So, and then we could do some giveaways. We could go, get our carry out, of course, because we can't all get into the bar or whatever, or the restaurant. But we could, as long as we're under 10 people, we could sit in the RV and eat and give away some free stuff. Maybe, I don't know. Just an idea I had. I've always trying to figure out how I can help other people, and I've got a lot of churches and a lot of personal trainers and stuff like that are going to try to be doing something as well. So,
that makes sense.
I'm like, man, it sure would be cool to kind of bring. There's a positive in everything. So that's what I'm trying to do, is find out how we can make this the best we can. We know it sucks, but
Well, and like I said, bless your heart for thinking that way, and I think it's something we can do. And the best part about it is, Kelly, you're very always forward thinking and like coming up with ideas and everything. And the best thing to make something like this organic is to build it from a show like this and to figure out what we can do. So what we really need, and you can interrupt me anytime if I'm wrong, that because we've gone mobile before, but not like in an RV. What we would need is we'd need businesses to say like, yes, basically park in our parking lot and help us out to be like, hey, we'll make, if it was a pizza place, like, we'll donate 5 pizzas. You guys just say like the first 5 that pull up that are watching the show, we'll give a pizza type of thing. Am I right with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we could do anything.
Anything, though. Yeah, it could be tacos for all I know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Yeah, and to get people to to interact, and everybody's looking for content. I've been saying that for months, right? That's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Me, bro.
But this is a way that we can actually help other local businesses. It doesn't even actually have to be a restaurant, I suppose, because I mean anybody that has a product, if they would like to highlight it, I'd have no problem. I mean, it's all about the network. It's all about building a network, and it's all about helping other people. So we could take this as anywhere we wanted to, really, and and it's giving people something to look at. I'm trying to keep it all positive, of course, because there's enough negativity out there. And there's a positive in everything. So as long as you can find a positive, and and just keep moving forward.
Yeah, like I said, I was talking and I said I don't know all the details, but I think Kelly's going to call in and we're going to do this. And I think the best way possible is to put that out there to the hasslers and the people out there that know other business owners that say like, hey, there's an opportunity, that's something we can do to create content. And with everything you've helped us and help us grow with the Sling Studio and more, it only makes sense that we can take expertise is on your end, but knowledge of what we've done troubleshooting, I guess, on our end, and help people and take our show and do something like you said and do our own version of Paula Sands Live, I guess, in the afternoon and highlight these places for curbside pickup.
Absolutely. And if you have an offer, if you have an ad, or even if you have a commercial or something like that, we have the capability to insert a commercial. We can insert an interview. I mean, we can have people call in, Skype in. I mean, there's just so many things that I've been working on in my studio that we have all set up here. But also, I mean, the RV is just getting out for the year. So it needs a few things, but it's got the internet, it's got the TV and everything. So as far as the Skype and stuff, that's going to take a little bit of effort, but I still think that that we can take this and turn it around and help our local businesses that have helped us through all this stuff too. And it excites me, man, because I'm not going to just sit here and watch the TV. I can't do it. I got to stay busy. So, and this is a great way to get out there and promote other businesses, because they're, another thing, if you're closed, and I get it, money's tight, but if you're closed up, wouldn't it be a great time to try to figure out and reevaluate your business and just kind of think about what's next? Because everything is moving online. Maybe this is a blessing for everybody to say, hey, I really need to focus on my online presence. I've been doing that for a while, and it's not an easy bridge to cross. But when you get it together, that's the thing, is we can be together and not be together.
No, I'm with you. Like I said, I'm glad you called in. I will talk with you off the air, and we'll come up with some ideas. We'll take any ideas that we get via the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread, or any business people that say that they're interested, and we'll we'll brainstorm this together. But I appreciate your heart, man. Really do.
Well, I appreciate what you guys do too, man. You guys helped me get this thing off the ground, a little over a year ago, and we've got some serious momentum now. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just happy to help out, because if I can help other people, then it actually helps me. So
right on. I'll be in touch with you soon, Kelly. Thank you very much. Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. That's Kelly from Dunnerite Satellite and
Hey,
TV
Jay,
Solutions. Yeah.
I'm kind of late to the whole conversation.
Sure.
Have you put up anything on on the station's website about like local restaurants or whatever that
yesterday we just talked about, like, hey, if you've got an idea or you need to promote curbside, call in, do whatever else. And then last night was kind of like, that's where the whole thing started, where Kelly, and it was a small conversation. I was like, well, maybe we'll talk about it later. But it was like, I just said, hey, it looks like we're starting to use Facebook, social media more. You want to create the best content that's someone's going to pay attention to more. Dunright is the type of people do it, and then this kind of thing just kind of happened organically.
Okay, so he's putting together a website where you could, like, if Corner Grill or someplace like where I live out in Bluegrass has got carry out. They're going to put on a website or something.
We're going to figure it all out. I mean, this is something this is all something we're talking. Our conversation, he was on the way somewhere. He had an appointment. I know he's got another one at 2. I just said, hey, why don't you call in? Some things happen better organically. And you always take advice from people, especially people that are listening in the Quad Cities, and you know our friends are in here now to be like, hey, what can we do here to do this? It's something new, and it's still a way to get the word out there, because some people don't know how to. They don't have the equipment to do this. They don't understand that it's mobile or anything like that. Like, I can take this. And I've had a couple other. And
have they banned food trucks?
Probably, but I don't know. That's a good question. Let's come back to that in a second, because this is going to be interesting. ESPN 1170, you're on the air.
Staying at school. So.
Hello?
Did you get your check over there?
What?
Did you get your check over there?
This is Harrington. It says it's
Good.
Harrington's. What's going on?
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Oh my gosh.
Benny's feeling good, though?
Is T-Roy? Hello?
Nice.
This is T-Roy.
It says Harrington's right here.
This is T-Roy.
Yeah, it says I can see the caller ID.
He's got T-Roy's playing around.
No.
He's doing a Crank Acres on a
He's
show
doing
right
a
now?
bit. Yeah,
Is
he's doing a bit.
Yeah.
He's doing a bit.
T-Roy. I really thought he was going to call in. I was
No, he's
going
playing some.
I was going to text him while Kelly was talking to be like, "Are you okay?" Because I haven't heard from. I don't know what that clown's doing.
What?
I think he was excited. I thought he was going to be all like cake and shake or whatever else.
I know. I was hoping. I miss
That
him.
lady sounded
Yeah, I
really
know.
sweet though. Are you okay? Are you
Yeah.
feeling good?
I don't know what his
Oh,
problem
the
is.
phone's line's lighting up
Oh,
again.
my
God.
God. All right, this is the last chance at this. All right. ESPN 1170.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Man, I was like, I can hear you guys. I'm like, hello. Hey, what? Huh? What?
Did you hear that at all? It was
I
some.
can hear everything you guys are saying. Everything.
It was some woman asking like how our health was and did we get a check and all good. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't know.
It was weird. We thought anyway. What
I
are you
could
up
hear-
to? What are you
I
doing?
could hear what you guys are saying. I couldn't hear any of the other things.
Okay. What
She
are
sounded
you
lovely.
doing? What are you doing?
I'm driving around trying to plug holes with every little. Like I'm like the little little Dutch boy at the dike.
Okay.
Trying to plug every hole, trying to get everything taken care of.
You
So
like
just,
Chevy Chase in Vegas Vacation right now, just plugging up the Hoover Dam with gum and all that stuff?
Yeah, and I'm like I drive around. I heard the end of Kelly, and just wanted to say that everybody's out there trying to do what they can do, man. And my comment was to Tom is like, there's really not anything up and going yet because our governor gave us a 2-hour window.
I know. That's crazy.
I mean, listen, we knew in our bottom of our hearts it was coming. We're like, all right, this is probably coming. When they're going to announce it? But I think everybody collectively thought, okay, we're going to have a little bit of time to prepare. So it's everybody just scrambling at once and trying to figure out, all right, how do we get this solved? And what, I know it had been going through our heads, but it's not a reality until it is a reality. And that's what it is. And I know, I could tell you this, that we live in a great part of the world, you guys. I already know this. The banks, at least the ones I've talked to, are trying to work with us.
Yep.
And they're going so far as to, suspend note payments, loan payments. So just know that there's things being done just at that fast of a level and that quick within roughly 24 hours. Banks are making a decision to help their customers out. So, the whatever greed or whatever thing that we think that's there when it comes to large corporations or whatever else, that doesn't apply to the Midwest, man. You can keep that crap and
Uh-oh.
See, now when he starts getting wild, he just drops out. Now when he starts going all T-Roy, it drops.
What I'm saying is that here in the Quad Cities, this is true people. These are real people that this isn't phony. This isn't phony America. This is the real America right here that we live in, and I'm damn proud of it.
Are you a real American, T. Roy? Should we play a song for you?
Every minute. I'm driving around listening to it.
Wait, are you a real American?
So, T. Roy, I know you're busy doing all these things, but there are times where I truly enjoy your input on things and the mindset you put to this. And when you really go in with 2 feet. If you can find time to sit down with Kelly and I and to put some ideas together, I would really appreciate it if you were part of this.
Yeah. I think, like I said, today was the first time to kind of be away from Hazel for just a little bit. I got to sit her for a little while, so I had to go out and try to get some stuff knocked out. I'm going to try to be at the show for maybe an hour tomorrow or whatever. I'm getting about 2.5 hours a day to get some stuff done. So it just,
Welcome to being a stay-at-home mom. Hey,
yeah,
I said that to my friends. I said everybody's going to learn and have a newfound respect for all these stay-at-home moms that they always.
No, see, I got more than just that job. That's the problem.
Oh, of course.
I'm not just a stay-at-home mom. I got other people I have to. I take care of my wife. She can't take care of herself. I mean, everybody knows that.
Oh, come on.
I mean, I do it all, Leah. You should know that.
I know you do, babe. I know you do.
But no, all seriously, joking aside, yes, you know what? It's not easy, and it's not easy to change what you do. And granted, teachers do a lot and deal with a lot, but at the same time, you know what? Get used to being with your kid. I don't want to hear you crying. It's too hard. Like seriously, it's not too hard. It's just you have to adjust to it.
Yeah, it takes an adjustment period for sure.
Like I get it. Yeah, it sucks when you got a 4-year-old and they don't necessarily understand when you say be quiet or listen or don't touch that. Yeah, but you know what? That's part of the racket. If you didn't want to have a 4-year-old, you should have kept your thing in your pants. I don't know what to tell these people. I got no sympathy for you. Just deal with it. If you can't adapt and overcome, then you got.
I'm waiting for it. Back in my day, we had to walk 5 miles to school.
Back in my day, Tom, my old dad was just slap me in the head. That's what happened back in my day.
We were latchkey kids. We didn't have people with us 24/7.
My mom had a wicked backhand too. I mean, I felt the wrath of that thing many times.
Yeah, the reminder I always got when I was young was my grandfather basically cheated his way into signing up for the Navy in World War II after D-Day, and signed up when he was 17 and went over and fought for us. So
wow, that's awesome, though.
So
yeah,
a lot of people.
That's a sacrifice.
Exactly.
We'll get through that. There are tougher times. That was tough times.
Yeah. Hard times.
Hot times. Hey, let's get Dusty going.
Hot times, baby.
Get Dusty going. Pull up to Dusty.
We need to do that. Ric Flair, put hard times in Dusty Rhodes.
Ric Flair.
It's the greatest.
Oh my God, you got him going down.
It's the greatest promo ever, isn't it?
Computer took your daddy's job, baby.
That is the greatest,
it's
promo,
the greatest promo
in professional wrestling
Austin
history.
316 up there is good, but
that's not. It's Dusty Rhodes Hard Times. And there's nobody even close at second.
Yeah. Real quick, did I ever tell you the story that he actually wore a cast at home so that his kids believed that the Four Horsemen broke his leg as well?
Oh my God!
So that they wouldn't go home to school and tell him that's how much he sold the bit.
It's just commitment.
That's commitment to the bit.
Yeah. Hard times. Commitment to the bit is hard times.
That's funny because I'm gonna wear.
Let me tell you something.
I'm wearing a cast in tomorrow because Mookie broke my arm last night. She was beating me.
Yeah.
I believe it. After the things you just said.
All right. Listen, brother. I'll be in touch with you. Take care of what you got to take care of today.
But real quick, I just wanted to make sure the Quad Cities remembers who said that Tom Brady was going to Tampa Bay first.
It was you. Good for you.
All right.
We'll talk to you soon. Yep. Take care. Yep, bye. All right. Well, T-Roy called in.
The best thing about today? I can socially distance from T-Roy.
Yeah. Today was a good day.
I love T-Roy.
No, so again, Kelly said then T-Roy got to call right back in. There's nothing really written down in this whole thing of how it's
well, when it gets out there, let me know, and I'm happy to promote on, my platform and let people know. Same with Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, all those areas. I know some people are trying to put something together there too.
We have an RV. We can go on the road.
Let people know.
Yeah,
I'm just telling a website or something. Hey, this is the number you can call, and here's our online menu, and so people can just people need a resource right now. Here's the phone number to call. Here's our menu, and boom, boom, boom. You can just order and if they have DoorDash and it's DoorDash in your area or whatever, or if you want to just do drive-through. I mean, because people are so online right now. I mean, they're stuck in their home. They're looking at their computers and their phones, and if they have a website that just lists all these things, and everybody, the people I've seen, here's our online menu.
Yeah.
And instead of just poking around on Facebook trying to find out, well, is such and such, are they still open or what are they doing? We just have a resource. Oh, I really want to go to, Pints or something, or hey, how about drive-through liquor? That's going on too.
So you mean like a one-stop shop where you can go and every restaurant that is offering this is all collectively in the same...
Yeah, on a website.
In the same,
on a webpage.
That's a great idea.
And
I had a friend post, she did all the homework and she wrote every single one down on a piece of paper. So if that was on a website, more people would have access to it. To have their phone number where you can call in and an online menu that they can hyperlink to that's on their website. And absolutely.
So we can all help each other out. And by the way, if you are doing drive up, takeout, whatever, throw a little extra in the tip jar.
Yeah, throw it up to the 20% you normally would do.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I say don't use Grubhub and Uber Eats as much. You know, give that money because it's like $14.
Yeah, plus
extra.
I want to go out. I want it gets you out of the house for a little bit, even if it's just in your car. You're driving around and.
Well, let me tell you another crazy story that I think we briefly talked about yesterday, but then I went home and thought about it, and it's one of those things. Today is my 14-year wedding anniversary.
Happy anniversary!
Congratulations!
If this were going on, I would not have had a wedding. That's crazy.
Yeah, lots of people are having to reschedule.
I have a friend of mine up in Madison, and he's basically his business is DJing weddings and parties and things like that. And he's like, "What do I do?
Yeah,
can't do anything."
No, yeah, I mean
the fact that we're having to limit.
Hold on a second. What happened in Wisconsin?
Well, just that they're just can't have big gatherings.
Oh, okay. Can I one more thing to complain? Get on my soapbox type of thing.
Yeah.
There were a few posts yesterday that because Wisconsin hasn't shut down bars and restaurants, right? There were a few posts that people were like, "Hey, let's road trip to Wisconsin," and my only thought was, "No, don't write that."
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to get a governor looking at that, going, "What?
Then we're quarantined into our houses."
Yeah, no, but then they'll shut down Wisconsin.
They'll stop
too,
travel altogether. They'll make it so you can't travel anywhere.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Well, I know Canada, the borders of Canada was shut.
Isn't that ironic? A little bit.
Don't
just
you
love
think?
It. Don't you think?
Yeah. But it's little things like that because I even said like, all right, it was great. It was great that people went out for St. Patrick's Day on Saturday, but then when you write a post and you have a video of a place being busy and saying like, "Good job, Quad Cities. We're not scared. We're Quad Cities strong," and you did it. You know if you did it, and then it turns around 2 days later because someone goes, "Wait, I don't want to." The governor's saying I don't want to have this type of thing for St. Patrick's Day, and the other thing, Surge said yesterday that the reason why they didn't do it on Monday night or give us 12 hours, 15 hours was because of the whole idea of having a last blast and everyone being out. But that's the problem when you were putting stuff like that on social media and someone looks and then all it takes is somebody to just put a phone in front of the governor or whoever's in charge, bomber, not the governor, and he was someone and saying like, "Look what happens." That's what I'm saying. Don't say like, "Hey, we're gonna road trip to Wisconsin. We're all just gonna go into a local bar across the street from Dubuque."
Yeah, half of Dubuque is over in Wisconsin. If that's happening,
like it's just kind of like, oh, guys,
trust me, you don't want to go to Wisconsin.
Hey,
Milwaukee's not what it used to be, and that's.
I'm not driving that far. They don't have to drive too far. To
Madison is awesome.
Yes, well, they have more money than Milwaukee does. To be awesome.
Sam, pump up Big Grove again for me real quick.
Well, we've got a lot of new beers coming out. The brewers are they're practicing social distancing, so they're working in shifts. And Color TV will be out this week, so you'll be able to get it over in the Quad Cities later this week. Probably Friday, I would imagine, it'll hit the Hy-Vees.
Yeah.
And then I think we'll kind of adjust some different things. Obviously with bars being closed, we're able to adjust and move more of our beer into packaged beer to get into the grocery stores. So, always love everyone's support of us. We are so thankful for everyone in the Iowa City community and really the Iowa community.
Is the food portion, you guys are still open, right? People could order?
So we are doing to go, basically like a drive up.
Yeah, great.
Good.
Yeah,
it's good food.
It's kind of like a family style menu right now in some ways. So you can like order portions for 4. And,
oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
And then you guys do beer too. You sell.
Yeah, beer to go. We're just obviously have to be closed, but we're very thankful obviously that we get to put the beer out in the stores too. So
yeah, that's awesome. Hy-Vee.
Yep.
Everywhere.
Fairway, Hy-Vee, all of your independent liquor stores.
Can't get toilet paper, but you can get beer.
That's right.
Look, I told the boys you guys start saving your napkins when you guys have to bring food in because you never know.
Well,
Nature calls.
We don't know how long this goes on for, Sam, and no matter what, you're a friend of the show, and you can always message us and say, "Hey, I just need to stop in. I want to talk a little bit about Big Grove." You're always welcome. Again,
I'll always bring the beer.
Yeah. Well, again, I love the Color TV New England double IPA. Double dry hopped with Galaxy hops. It's going to be in there, and when it's up and running, make sure when you go to the Hawkeye events, you always stop by Big Grove. But we really appreciate you coming.
It's a good place to do a little road trip right now. Just drive up, pick up some.
Well, that's the thing. You can't pick up the beer now in there. You can pick up some food.
Oh, you can pick up the beer.
I asked you that at the beginning. You're like, nope. Now we're going to Hy-Vee now, and I was like, what?
What's that? Oh, no.
So you still can sell. You still can buy the beer.
Yeah,
and the cool T-shirts.
Yep.
Go to Iowa City. Go on a road trip.
T-shirt with this on it?
I don't think we have a T-shirt. We have glassware.
You need to make a T-shirt with that.
So we
I would
really
buy
do.
It right
Yeah,
now.
I'm not kidding you.
Jill, if you're listening, order those right
Yes.
now. We really do.
It's awesome. It's an awesome can.
Just sit in the parking lot, eat some food, and drink some beer.
Some Korean barbecue wings.
And then drive home.
Yeah.
But Sam, I would really want to appreciate you coming in. And again,
thanks for having me.
Anytime, message us and just say, I'm just going to swing by him in the air. I don't know. You might be in the air quite a bit because you're doing more and more on-premise things and everything. So you're always welcome. But we're going to have to take a quick break. And soon after that, we have stockings coming in today. Cakes, stick around with us.
Yeah, oh, my God.
Cakes,
oh,
stick around
my
with us.
God.
But you're listening to ESPN 1170. Don't hassle us local. And a reminder that you still can get delivered and you can do pickup pizza at Van's Pizza and More in Bettendorf. All right, today is $1 off wings and $1 off baked pastas. We have outstanding daily specials, and you can get that Van's Pizza you love, plus Van's famous wings and their bread nuggets, salads, and baked subs. Van's Pizza More, it's carry-out call-in establishment, and that works right into here. And you can have your pizza hot and ready within 10 minutes, or you can have it delivered. Delivery area is limited. Call Van's to go at 563-232-1396. That's Van's Pizza and More, 5023 Competition Drive in Bettendorf. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
W Pro, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
ESPN 1170 AM.
When the soil around your foundation shifts, it can cause serious problems for your home, including bowing, leaning, or cracked basement walls. Helitech's patented wall anchoring system will provide a permanent solution for bowing basement walls and will get the job done right the first time. For basement wall repair, trust Helitech, your hometown foundation repair contractor for over 30 years. Soil constantly expands and contracts, putting pressure against your foundation, causing it to bow or crack. Helitech is the area's only contractor that uses AB Chance, an American-made wall anchoring system to provide a permanent solution for bowing or cracked foundation walls. Helitech proudly services Central Illinois, the Quad Cities, Central Missouri, Southern Illinois, Southeast Missouri, Western Kentucky, and the greater St. Louis regions. When it comes to basement cracks, don't ignore the problem. Trust Helitech to heal your home. Give yourself peace of mind knowing they will find the root of the problem, the solution, and heal it for a lifetime.
Heal your home with Helitech.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
I think steak is one of the most overrated foods. When people say, what's the meal you want, the best meal you can have, people say a good ribeye, a good New York strip, and I just think that those are overrated. And I'm always going to go maybe some seafood, some nice chicken dish. I just prefer that stuff over the steak.
I firmly disagree with that assessment.
I think most people would.
The most overrated food is lobster. It's the cockroach of the sea.
That's right. I said it.
These are shocking things. All right. Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Is steak overrated? Is lobster overrated? Do you eat the fat? Because Stugatz is saying the fat is the best thing. I don't think a lot of people think the fat is the best thing. Do they?
It's so good. Like, you ever just grill a ribeye and at the very end on the edges, there's that fatty part of it. It is
right in the garbage.
right off the right in the garbage. I'm going to throw you in the garbage. What's the matter with you?
The Dan Le Batard Show, 9 till noon on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
At a time of personal loss, we each express our feeling in our own way. Whelan Presley Funeral Homes and Crematory recognize that no one service is right for everyone. That's why we offer various options for the most appropriate service, the most fitting farewell, and personalized attention to detail. Whelan Presley Funeral Homes and Crematory, Rock Island, Milan, Reynolds, and the Knox Chapel.
Escúchame, it is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
It is funny to have a coach say, no, I didn't mean to call them thugs. I meant to call them slugs. And I just want to officially parse the dumbest possible way we could ever discuss race in sports. Did the old guy mean slugs or thugs? If he meant thugs, racist. If he meant slugs, just good coaching. Maybe he's just old and made a verbal mistake because they fly around a lot and he's old. It is a great defense, though. It really is, because I believe him. I believe that he meant to say slugs.
I mean, it's really the only defense you can go to, right?
Racist!
I'm old. I meant to say slugs.
No, slugs! I'm just old, doddering. I'm not racist. Just old.
The Dan Le Batard Show, 9 till noon on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
You're right on par in your M&M Golf Car.
M&M Golf Cars, your authorized club car dealer, invites you to check out the new Onward by Club Car. Onward's all-new accessories personalize nearly every detail to fit your lifestyle. Customize yours at mmgolfcars.com. 0% financing for 24 months through the end of the month. M&M Golf Cars, Bettendorf.
Right on par in your M&M Golf Car. M&M Golf Cars.
Golick and Wingo in the morning. Dan Le Batard when you get to work. Don't hassle us. We're local for lunch. Spend your day with a Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
This is Julian Vandervelde, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
ESPN 1170 AM.
Spring out of your old car and into a new Hyundai. It's the
Welcome back to ESPN 1170 AM. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. I want to thank Sam from Big Grove coming in and talking to us. And
good place.
Yeah, it's
Go
a great
there.
place. It really is. And in any, I guess there's other places. I mean, there's other breweries around here that if you're canning your stuff in the Quad Cities, yeah, we talked to Kelly from Dunright. There's got to be places out there that you want to support your show, you want to promote it somehow, and we do have the means. So you can reach out to Dunright, you can reach out to us, and we can figure something. What it takes is it just takes some ideas to grow organically, and we can make it work from there. And I think that's kind of how our show is. It's to support local, and I know starting as much as when I made that post last night, if you want to do things and you want to put things out there on Facebook Live, you know, get the proper stuff out there, contact Dunright. But I've been contacted by other things, and we're working on a lot of other things that we can do in the next 2 weeks, or more. Who knows? We are joined in studio by Brian Stocking.
Yes.
Stockpile. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. You know, I'm sort of like I'm ready to go back to school, and there's nothing to do.
Did I tell you
we
what?
had spring break, and now it's extended spring break.
Stocking, you always bring a smile ear to ear. You always got a place from noon to 2 to come up with your crazy ideas and who's going to win. There's so many things I want to ask you, but now I just don't want. I want to spread it out, because what if I get to have you back? I don't want to right now ask like how you think the Cubs record's going to be, and what number you think it's going to be, or now is it, I mean, because back over Christmas break you said David Ross would be fired by September. Now is it going to be extended because of this? Is
Probably.
It gonna get, okay.
Well, see, here's the thing. Baseball was looking at 3 scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
they could if they had gone if the 2 weeks had come up, they had delayed it for 2 weeks. The three scenarios were move the 2 weeks, tack the 2 weeks on to the end of the season, which was the most likely scenario, which would move them to October 11th. The second scenario, which wasn't very probable, was like they did in 1990, stuff the missing games back in to the schedule with doubleheaders or one game trips, but that was only 7 games. This would have been like 14 games. So I didn't see that. And teams now only make 1 trip. They don't make 2 or 3 trips like they did back in 90. The scenario that they're going to be with is the one that they really didn't want to stay away from. It's like in 1972 when the league went on strike, they picked up in mid-April. And they said whatever games would have been played, they're gone. And we're going to play from mid-April to the end of the season. Great idea, except for one problem. Detroit and Boston did not have an equal number of games. Detroit had 1 fewer game than Boston played. Detroit wins the American League East by a half game because of that game that they didn't have to make up that Boston had to play because their schedules were different. And you could have that, and with all the wild card and division permutations, I mean, could you see a scenario where, say, the Cubs have to play 2 less games than the Cardinals, and the Cubs get in by, say, a game over the Cardinals?
I'm fine about that.
It's my dream.
I know, but could you see? Could you see Cardinal fans? Could you see Cardinal fans going ballistic?
That's fine.
And
I would love it.
Vice versa.
Or could you see Jay going ballistic if the Twins missed the playoffs by a half game to, say, the White Sox, because the White Sox had 1 less game than the Twins?
Again, it's radio gold, pal.
Jay would be hitting Jay's brains would be hitting the roof.
Yeah. But the thing is you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have
the facts of life. Yes.
And for this, like everything that we're going through, and you're like, okay, and to put together a fun show, and then you look at that, and you're like, well, this writes itself because of what happened, and you get to come. I mean, it's this entire year is going to change. I truly believe this is going to change the NBA as we know it from here on out. I think the NBA now, again, I said this over. Obama's probably sick of me talking about it, but I think this is the beginning of the NBA now doing their championship. The NBA championship will be played in August now.
Yeah, well, there was.
I think it'll stay that way from here. Yes.
Right before everything shut down, there were stories floating that the NBA was considering backtracking their season 2 months, because when they start now in mid-October, they don't get much of an audience because football and college football overrun it.
This was brought up at the Sloan Conference.
Right. So they were going to move it back 2 months.
Atlanta owner.
Yeah, Steve Cohen. Yeah.
They were going to move it back 2 months to mid-December. That way they get started, then they have Christmas, then the NFL season ends, and then they could sort of take off from there. Their season, instead of ending in mid-April, would end on Father's Day. 2 months moves the playoffs into the 4th of July and into August, where they would get a bigger audience than baseball. That and really for the NBA, they're really not tied in to arenas, because most of the arenas have air conditioning now, unlike the old Boston Garden, which would have been impossible playing. They're not tied down to a surface like hockey. Hockey, I think the AHL season's done, because even if they would come back in, say, April, they'd have to start the playoffs right then and there, because you start talking about ice surfaces. A lot of these arenas can't keep the ice cool enough for the playing surface. I mean, you look at some of those Stanley Cup games, they're played in fog, they're played on bad ice. So I can't see them, if they can't come back, by May 1st, I think they're done. I think their season's over. Because of the fact,
you know what they should do? Both the NBA and the NHL should do like a March Madness type thing, just a tournament, bracket it up based on records and play it out.
What do you suggest?
That would be Spencer Dinwiddie.
Everybody gets to do this. Everybody in the league makes it.
Yeah, just have everybody in and go with the records that you have when play was stopped. Give them a couple weeks.
Jay doesn't like it. He's like, they didn't all earn it. They shouldn't be there.
No. No.
You got to do something interesting.
No. Okay. Again, we can brainstorm.
And you could even
this.
do
No,
like two out of 3 if you want. If you don't want it to be one and done.
How would you seed it? Just East West 1 through 16.
If you want to do that, or do it NBA, do it 1 to 30.
What Dinwiddie do?
I mean,
that's exactly what
you look at the history of the Stanley Cup, though.
I honestly, stop you right there. If the NHL stopped, everyone would be like, okay, the normal fan around here in this area and everyone else is going to go, if I say who won the 2019 NHL Stanley Cup, they're going to go, I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Here's the thing, though. In the history of the Stanley Cup, there was 1 year where it wasn't awarded due to the influenza epidemic of 1919. Because Seattle and Montreal, there was a player in Montreal that had influenza.
Because he does. And just sit and listen.
That's the beauty of the stockpile.
Yeah. And I didn't even...
Encyclopedia over here.
I didn't know that... all right, so there's 30 teams, so 15 in each side of the bracket. And you got to do 1 through 15, so 1 gets the bye. So what would you...
Or in the NBA, you do the traditional playoffs, but cut the series down. I mean,
okay, yeah. So if you do that,
but what you do is the thing that Zach Lowe and Bill Simmons have talked about doing, which is have for the 7 and 8 seeds in the playoffs, have play-in games. So 7 versus 10, 8 versus 9. Do a 1-game playoff with those, and
but you're still leaving out the other guys, the 11,
fine.
12.
That's
13.
I'm just giving that another option.
If you're the Chicago Bulls, you still miss the playoffs anyway.
Yeah.
And if you're the Bulls, if they would say, well, we're going to play 5 games.
No.
If you're the Bulls, why would you play those 5 games? I mean, you're already out of it. I mean,
wouldn't people go crazy for like a March Madness type thing?
Yeah, I think
so. I would love it. I mean,
the logistics would need to be ironed out, though.
Yeah.
It's kind of...
That's what we're doing right now, Bomber.
Well, you're taking a little long here.
Well, now I need to look at it because where the 8 is, because I don't want to drop out the 8 and have a play-in or whatever else. I do want it to make more
just
of a
have
tournament.
all the teams. I
yes.
would do all the teams.
But the thing is, don't leave out, and that's what I'm trying to look up right now, is the standings currently in the NBA, because I don't want New Orleans to be left out of the playoffs if they're not in the 8 right now. Because you want Zion Williams. I mean, you need something like that. You need something, you know?
Yeah.
We're saying, and Kevin Durant, well, he's definitely not playing the rest of the year, but there was that speculation on Monday morning that if they got pushed back, he would be healthy enough to play in July until his business partner came in and was on the get up and said, nope, not going to do this. But no, I want to see where the standings are. And then...
Because more than likely, I think... going to be realistic here. Probably not going to have fans in the stands. You know what I thought about doing? Stockpile is going to love this.
Yes.
Because I know that I'll guarantee you that Brian Stocking watched this like I did when we were young. I want them to, what they should do right now, and they could do this, is put together a horse competition like they used to have on CBS. And the players would play horse. Like you can go on YouTube.
Yeah, I remember.
You can go on YouTube and find like Pete Maravich playing George Gervin.
Yeah, that's a little bit before my time, but I do remember seeing that.
Don't tell me you wouldn't. I love it. I love exactly what you're talking about.
We could do that now.
Yes, you could do it right now.
You could do it right now because you could have. There only needs to be.
Was it John Morant just showed him in his
3 people out there
living room,
and you're not next to each other. It's not playing 1-on-1. It's just doing.
You could be at different.
You're playing horse.
It could be at different ends of the court, essentially.
Horse competition. That's my idea.
Why are people not doing this right now? Like currently, right now, this should be done.
Well,
because they're divas and they're not going to get paid enough.
No, it's
so brand new. But you got to find a way to make those sponsors and pay. I mean, look, and not only that, and the NCAA
it's travel.
NCAA is. I mean, lost 85% of their revenue because of the March Madness.
I know.
There's so many things they could be doing right now. You could do a slam dunk contest. You could do, for the hockey, you could do, goalie contest.
Like Tom's point is, you don't really even need to be like, you could be on opposite ends of the court, but I guess you want the same rim, same side, same look.
Same rim.
Yeah, but they could walk off, different ends, so they would never be, so they would have the social distancing of.
You've got agents that are going to go, we are not signing off on this in case you get hurt.
Yeah.
You've got owners that are going to say the same thing.
But how are you going to get hurt in a horse?
They might get the virus.
So I guess, can we also say that there should be a battle of the network stars?
No, not enough social distancing.
now I don't like your theory anymore. So I want to bring back.
Robert Conrad's dead.
I want to bring
anyway.
back Battle of the Network stars. I want to see.
Forget it.
I want to see Barry from the Goldbergs in a tug of war competition.
Forget the tug of war. Remember the slam dunk tank? You remember the dunk tank? And
Yes.
These are the things we need to bring back, though. Yesterday we were joking around about how, and I'm not, I semi am joking around about how I'm going to set up a checkerboard and then start taking bets on who I think. Do you think I'm going to put Ben at, I think, plus 105 and my daughter at minus 115, and I'm just going to put their checker competition on Facebook Live, and then I'll take bets.
well, just if
What
we
are
have
we
a Battle of the
gambling on
Network
now, by the
stars,
way?
not like they had a couple years
East
ago on ABC. I watched that, and that was absolutely trash television.
That's Jay's favorite.
Where they had the 50, 60-year-old, Eric Estrada running against the 50, 60-year-old,
Oh, that was so
Lisa
bad.
Wetchell. And
Yeah, it was so bad. I watched, but it was bad.
And Joe
boxing.
Tessitore was Joe Tessitore thought he was, Howard Cosell, and was nowhere near Howard Cosell. The only thing he had in common with Howard Cosell was they both wore the canary jackets, but
there was nothing better for a teenage version of me than watching Adrienne Barbeau run in a relay. Nothing better. Or Suzanne Summers was in there.
Oh, isn't she the Thigh Master?
She's
Three's Company.
Heather Locklear
was in it.
Fawcett,
Oh, yeah.
Farrah Fawcett.
Farrah Fawcett was in there. Charlie's Angels. Yeah.
Randy Wells.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't even born yet when these people were.
No, Randy Oakes was their name. Randy Oakes.
We got to do
I'm pretty sure you can find a Battle of Network stars on YouTube, though, and it is awesome.
We had the celebrity boxing, which was a nightmare. It was just ridiculous.
Hey, Gabe Kaplan's still with us, so he can make it happen.
Speaking of, when we get that, just real quick, because we're going to have to point it out, Scott County has its first positive test of COVID-19.
I told you what I say, though. It's going to skyrocket because now testing is available to everyone. Or it's becoming more.
I just drove by the test place down in down off of River Drive.
People need to not freak out because you're going to hear a lot more positive
Oh,
results.
it's already. I mean, like yesterday, my mom turned 68, and we went shopping, and you could have seen. I mean, the store shelves. I mean, it looked like communist Russia.
Oh, it looks like the
Soviet Union.
Did you guys ever watch The Americans? Did you guys watch The Americans? No. You wouldn't get it. Martha, an American, got sent over to Russia because she got unwittingly involved, and they showed her in a Russian shopping mart, and there was like 3 cans of stuff. I mean, it was
that's how it is now.
Sort of the way it was at the stores that I went to yesterday. It was like
they're selling rotten, they're selling expired food too. I picked up a bag of oranges for my kids, and they're literally brown, and they're like 50 cents because they're not even getting rid of food because they don't want to lose. I don't know. It's just weird.
I was bragging to my family out in California who are quarantined right now or in lockdown that we had not had a positive test. Yeah. So
there's so many.
Thanks a lot. No.
Well, everybody, there's so many positives out there, and we just don't know about it. And there's positives out there with no symptoms, so people need to just relax. You're going to hear of a lot more positives. I'm telling you. Doesn't mean that people think it guarantees death. They need to chill out because that is not the case. They're not reporting survivors. They're not reporting people with no symptoms. So all we're hearing about is the death number, and that's it, and it's freaking people out.
But back to what we're talking about, guys. We've been following Axios and their the simulation of the NCAA tournament based on Lenardi's what he thought the brackets would look like for the NCAA tournament. And
I disagreed with their outcome.
Whose?
That the
Axios or the CBS? Which one?
The ESPN one, the BPI one.
Okay, what was that? Is that Joe Lenardi's? That Iowa was a 6?
No. Oh. Just that they had Wisconsin winning the tournament.
No. Well, I've seen. All right, I've seen a simulation where
Dayton
won, and this one Axios they're releasing every other week. I mean every other day. So each round goes every day. So they haven't released who won it. And we'll follow that back up probably tomorrow because we filled out our brackets because we just thought it'd be fun to feel like how they had it. So.
If the tournament had been, because today would be the second day of the first 4, my final 4 was Gonzaga winning it all because they were the best team I saw all year. Oregon in the second, they would beat Oregon because Peyton Pritchard is a clutch player. He's one of those players that when the money's on the table, you want him on the floor. The 2 other teams I had in the Final Four were San Diego State because they were one of the better teams all year, and East Tennessee State as my flyer, because lately there's this team from a mid-major that pops up all of a sudden. They had 5 seniors. They won 30 games. They beat LSU at LSU. I think East Tennessee State would have had that march all the way to the Final Four, sort of like a Loyola.
Listen to me.
But you look at the past few years, Loyola, George Mason, Butler, Gonzaga a few times.
You think East Tennessee State would have beaten Iowa in the first round and had to walk to the Final Four?
I didn't say walk to the Final Four. I said East Tennessee State has one of those profiles and one of those seasons where I think going to the Final Four would not have been out of the question. And East Tennessee State is.
I can't argue too much.
They're like a Loyola. They're like a Loyola. They're like a George Mason. They have 5 seniors, which you need, and you need seniors. They beat LSU at LSU, so it wasn't one of these mid-major teams that piled up a bunch of wins against, Watsamata U and the bottoms of the mid-majors and majors. This was a team that went to LSU, beat LSU, who have been in the tournament. They won 30 games this year. They went through a tough league. The Southern was one of your tougher leagues this year in the mid-majors. I think that would have set them up, and I think they would have gone on to the Final Four. I'm not saying it would have been a walk, because Loyola didn't have a walk when they went to the Final Four 2 years ago. And you're seeing more mid-majors who have seniors who are able to build, move to the Final Four.
I'm not going to say you're too crazy, because in the simulations by Axios, they had Iowa beating East Tennessee State in the semifinal. I mean, in the first round, in overtime, they had them beating them. They would have had to beat Duke, but the simulations, not to give a spoiler tomorrow, but they also have Arizona State beating Kentucky, so it would have been East Tennessee State versus Arizona State if they would have got through. This is via simulations. It's fun to argue about.
And if you remember, Loyola played K-State.
Yeah, when we come back, can we talk about the idea of giving these winter athletes another year of eligibility?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that. But first, Tim Hernandez wants you to focus on new and fun ways to get fit. And by the way, that is something that we can all still do. You can still do workouts in your home. So ID Life wants you to be healthier, have more energy, get better sleep, and achieve more focus. ID Life is a health and wellness company that has revolutionized the industry with customized nutrition. The ID Life name stands for Individually Designed Life and was founded on the principle that no two people are alike, so everyone has unique nutritional needs. Tim Hernandez is your guy in the Quad Cities to offer you personalized guidance that is tailored specifically to your health factors and personal goals. Do you have health problems that may be holding you back? The doctors and scientists develop what nutrients you should be taking and what supplements will benefit you the most. Go to qchealth.idlife.com to sign up for an unconditional, no questions asked 30-day money-back guarantee. Call Tim Hernandez today at 563-508-7221 so he can show you what makes ID Life different as you. Yes, when we come back, let's talk about if the winter sports can get another year. Cool with you guys?
Yep,
Cool.
that works.
This is Julian Vandervelde, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
ESPN 1170 AM.
Renewal by Anderson.
At Renewal by Anderson, we're celebrating 25 years in business. I'm Sam Hare. We want to say thank you to all of our customers over the years that have had the chance to experience the best windows and doors in the industry. To celebrate, previous customers and new customers can take advantage of the best specials in 25 years. Buy 2 windows and get one 60% off with no money down and no interest until 2022. Text SPRING to 96714 for additional savings. We're celebrating 25 years in business. It's our 25th birthday, but you get all the presents. Buy 2 windows and get one 60% off with no money down and no interest until 2022. Text SPRING to 96714 for additional savings. Visit us online at renewalbyanderson.com and visit our showroom on 35th Street in Davenport.
Renewal by Anderson. We love our new windows.
The Will Kane Show.
I don't think there's any hard and fast rule here. It's not that you have to win while your quarterback's on a rookie deal. I don't want to pay Dak $40 million because you don't have to. What I would argue is this: get a good deal. The main thing to do is avoid paying average quarterbacks as though they're great. That's when teams get in trouble. There's no hard and fast rule except don't be a moron. The commodity or the quality that's in short supply in every walk of life is self-awareness. Who am I? How good am I? What am I worth? And I think that teams honestly aren't self-aware enough about their window, how good they are, and how good their quarterback is. My biggest lesson, honestly, Fitz, is not, oh, you got to win with a quarterback on a rookie deal. It's not pay Dak, but don't pay him 40. It's just play smart business. Don't overpay. Be self-aware. Who is your guy, and pay him at that rate.
The Will Kane Show, 2 till 5 on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
Spring out of your old car and into a new Hyundai. It's the Hyundai Spring Sales Event at Lou Jack Hyundai. New 2020 Elantra SE for just $269 per month, with 0 down at 0% for 72 months. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with America's best warranty, a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty, and Hyundai Assurance. Click LouJackHyundai.com. Number I-14578, sell price $19,269 per month for 72 months at 0% APR financing. Plus tax title license on a 180 fee with approved credit ends 3/31/20.
Golick and Wingo.
Here's my thought on Magic not being with the Lakers anymore. He wants to be Magic Johnson, and you know what? That's cool.
I said, being Magic Johnson works.
Wasn't the greatest ending how they were all throwing each other under the buses and stuff? I'm not all cool with a lot of that. But at the end of the day, if you don't want to do this anymore because you want to be Magic Johnson and free to be Magic Johnson, man, I am cool with that because that's a pretty damn good life.
That's living your best life.
Yes.
Right there.
Golick and Wingo. Mornings on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
It's 4 a.m. and you're sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. If you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
At Casey's, we're here for our community, here for neighbors and friends, for supporting one another, and for making every day a little brighter. Make your day a little brighter with delicious pizza from Casey's, made just the way you like it, with fresh ingredients and baked right in our store. Now at Casey's, buy one large pizza, get one half off when you use code BOGO. That's promo code BOGO. Casey's, here for easy dinner, here for good. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
From the Sheedy Family Chiropractic Studios, this is the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM, KBOB, Davenport.
Welcome back to Don't Hassle So Local on ESPN 1170. Thank you for watching us on Facebook Live, listening on ESPN 1170. A reminder, you can listen on the app. Go to wherever you download an app, ESPN 1170 AM, and you can listen on ESPN1170AM.com. Click the upper right-hand corner and listen now. We have Tom Caker in studio. We got the Stockpile, Brian Stockton in studio. Bomber has to step out. She'll be back in soon. But before we left, I said to you guys on Thursday, because it still was all brand new, but we were talking to Rosso after the announcement was made, and we were talking to him over the phone, and I said, well, are these guys going to get another year eligibility? And he said, well, basically his first response was kind of right away was like, no. I said, well, why? So we're going through the whole thing. He said the NCAA, they're going to argue that 90% of their season has already been played. And I said, but how many guys have made money in the draft over just 4 games in the NCAA tournament? He said plenty. So
yeah. You look at like Shabazz Napier, who was probably not going to be a draft pick, and he ended up being a first-round pick based on great play in the NCAA tournament. Here's what I would say. I think it's an interesting idea, but here's the thing. There are a lot of teams and a lot of players, a lot of seniors that were already done. Kids from Evansville or Loyola Chicago, teams that weren't gonna. I mean, maybe Loyola goes into the NIT. We don't know, but I'm just using it, Samford, all these smaller conferences that were done, and those seniors' careers were over. Now you look at a Ryan Kriener, who didn't use a red shirt. Could you make a case for him? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But then if you're making exceptions of like, well, if they didn't use a red shirt, they could come back. But if they didn't, then you're just, and then what do you do? Then you raise the scholarship limits for one place, but not for the other, because you can't say, well, we're not going to let you bring in the 3 kids you signed already. It just, I don't know if it's workable.
You're making sense.
Here's the thing that bugs me.
Our show's not used to this. Yeah.
Here's the thing that bugs me, though. Spencer Lee was on track to be a 4-time national champion, correct?
Yes, sir.
Easily,
yes, sir.
probably.
Mm-hmm.
He was the biggest lock going to Minneapolis that there was,
yes, sir.
right? Now, if we go by these standards, he is not going to get a chance to be join that elite group.
Mm-hmm.
That's the elite of the elite. 4-time NCAA champion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's taken away from him. Not to mention he's probably not going to get to wrestle for a gold medal this year, probably.
Yeah.
The Tokyo, basically.
So I guess maybe that's my question is, but you grant to him, you grant to everybody.
And then how long do you extend it? Because for Spencer Lee, he's not a senior, so for him to, he's what, a junior? He'd be
next year will be his junior year.
Next year,
or this was his junior year.
So this was his junior year.
He was 2-time champion. Yeah.
He would have to. So you would have to say for not only for next year, but for the year after, so Spencer could get to be a 4-time champion.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if that's really workable either. How long because you'd be having to extend it out for 3 or 4 years for kids that would be freshmen who like Spencer in a Spencer Lee type situation, or in a sport where you've got like swimming or diving, and you're trying to be a 4-time NCAA champion. It's very difficult.
Here's the thing that you almost have to do is if you're going to do that for the seniors and say you could come back, then you have to tell all those freshmen, say you've got a kid that was coming in and he was expected, coach sold him on the idea that seniors graduate and you're going to slide right in. You got to open up things for those incoming guys and say, look, you can look around. Because the circumstances of your commitment have changed.
Well, the NCAA
here's the thing right now. Kids can't visit. You're seeing kids go in the transfer portal, and they can't travel.
Right.
They can't go on campus. And based on what people at Iowa have told me, the semester's done at Iowa. There's going to be no spring football. There's going to be no workouts. Nothing. I mean, there's going to be no recruiting going on. Coaches aren't allowed to go out, and it's probably going to be for a while. And kids can't visit campus; they're not allowed.
Right.
I think most of
the ACT.
The ACT is done. I think somebody told me June maybe.
There's one in June usually. So, but the April ones, which is what a lot of kids takes, is done. And the other thing is, the NCAA is talking about opening up the transfer process, where you can have where they're talking about a one-time where you can transfer, which is going to be a mess. And I mean, for those programs that are small programs they're trying to build, it's going to be a mess, because if you're a kid at, say, a Cleveland State or Detroit, where maybe you're 2-3 years down the road from maybe competing, and you're a junior or a senior, your bags are packed because I want to go to a place where I can play in the NCAA tournament, or and it's going to be. I think you're going to have one of the biggest messes in the history of the NCAA.
Here's the thing that is the toughest part of this right now is there isn't an expiration date. There isn't like, okay, everything's going to open up and we're going to be back to normal, in air quotes, at this date. And that's why it's hard to plan anything. I mean, Iowa already has kind of invited a bunch of kids. They have a big football junior day weekend where they're going to have official visits, and it's in like mid to late June. I think like the weekend of the 19th or something. They'll bring in all their top prospects, and they get it right before they go into a dead period in July. And do we know if normal's going to be back?
Well, there's talk that the NFL might be.
Yeah, the NFL.
The sport. I think Sports Broadcasting Journal or one of the said that the NFL is
Sports Business Journal.
Yeah, Sports Business Journal is looking at the possibility of what happens if this would spill into September or even October,
or if it mitigates in July and August and then comes roaring back, which is exactly what the Spanish flu did in 1918 and killed a bunch of people in the fall.
Yeah,
was when it was most lethal, and that could very well happen this time as well, and then you're taking away football,
Yeah,
and
and
that's
then-
when I'm going to get. I'm already mad. I'm going to get really
but
mad.
here's the
okay?
thing.
I never,
You know, when
this
we're
is the
gonna
most,
fight.
This is the most I've heard Tom's voice really
But
raised
we're gonna
over
fight.
the- and then
Here's the thing
You took away the tournament, okay, but I got a full season of hoops. I'm good, but I love the tournament, and frankly, we're going to be betting on South Korean Basketball League next week because they're opening up, and they better put some lines out.
Well, you're not into esports yet.
But April, when I was talking about the Stanley Cup in 1919, the Spanish flu was still virulent in Seattle in April, and it killed a member of the Montreal Canadiens and put like 2 or 3 of them in the hospital. And that was in April of 1919. So I mean, this is not, this could come back in fall and drive Tom up the wall.
Well, it would drive all of us up the wall.
It will. Everybody like.
Hey, there are certain things that can't be taken away, and if it takes away the NFL, I mean, they may have to, God, I hate ringing alarm bells, but you're going to have to test everybody that's playing and everybody around there, and you have to have. Imagine the NFL in empty stadiums.
No,
that's what. The Chargers have shown that the last couple of years.
Yeah, there we go. Set it right up for that one. There
You gotta ring the bell. Yeah.
So all right.
Well, the Chargers always had opposing teams fans in the stands.
We don't know the timeline, but I
No.
guess the draft was the one where I was like, oh, okay, interesting. They
How
were
are they
going
gonna
out
do-
for the draft. They were
It's
going out for that.
It's almost probably going to have to be, and that ticks me off because I was going to go out there and go to Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
This is how bad it's so bad that Vegas shut down.
I know it's terrible.
Yeah.
Vegas doesn't have-
The only thing that we've got left, Jay. Vincent Kennedy McMahon is our only hope.
So and this is the other thing. So all right, it's funny you mention it because all of a sudden, like all weekend long, I'm like, well, he's waiting.
You know what I said to a friend of mine? I said, he let one of his talent die in the ring and kept the show going. The coronavirus is nothing to Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
So I was sitting there saying last week, I'm like, well, this is up to the Florida governor because Vince is keeping the show going. The Florida governor shut down. So then they shut down. They're going to put it in the
Performance Center.
Yeah, the Performance Center, right? And with no fans there. Okay. Then I'm still looking at the timeline for the bar shutting down. Okay.
Yeah.
Because. I think I know a way to show WrestleMania, and if that's our only event, wouldn't it be cool? So hopefully the bars can come back in because it's not till April 5th, right?
Yeah, we can't count on it.
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
No, the shutdown for the bars is until the end of the month. That's what I'm saying.
Vince has a yacht, and 12 miles outside of international 12 miles is outside of international waters.
They've done it on U-Trip, on a USS boat before, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
They've done that before.
And McMahon's got yachts. I mean, it's not like he's got
those cruise ships aren't doing a whole lot.
They lit this ban, and I
Good
guess
thing
I'm
Jericho got his cruise in.
I'm the first one that's going to say it. They lift this ban in time for bars, and then everyone else can jump on it and say like, "Oh, we're going to show it too," even though they don't care about WWE. It'll be on at Pints.
What about drive-in theaters? Why don't they utilize that right now?
Are there any?
Yeah, we have one.
It's right down the road from me.
To show sporting events or not just sporting events.
Movies.
Anything.
Because you're in
your car.
You're
quarantined.
Yeah, and you're 6 feet.
Why don't people utilize that? I wondered that yesterday.
Because you're wasting gas running to keep them warm.
So gas stations are open. Pay at the pump.
No one's saying they were
I went to a gas station where it was $1.96.
I know. I was celebrating.
That's not a bad idea.
The only happiness that I've gotten is filling up my tank in the last week.
And
it's under $2.
And not having to pay $3 a gallon,
Yes.
$2 a gallon.
It's the same price it was when I got my license for the first time in a really long time.
No, we don't want to go.
Is that for certain, or is that it really is that, or you just think it is?
No, it is.
Yeah.
You can
now,
Google
Stocking says, I'm like, all right. And then you say, that's not fair to you. That shouldn't be fair to you. And it's not because you're a woman. It's because Stocking remembers everything 2 years before he was born. So it's
Two?
Not, yeah.
You're talking about 1919 right now.
Yeah, that's true. So that's not fair. But I do think that's not a bad idea for drive-ins.
Yeah.
Because the movie theaters obviously are down. And we all know once it hits like 58, we feel like it's 92 in the middle of July.
Yeah,
It'll go
how
out
we
there.
roll
And,
in the Midwest, for sure.
That's not a bad idea.
I think that we people should utilize it right now, 100%.
And I wonder how much it would cost to show that. But I mean, what is WrestleMania going to be like? And
I can't believe Dana White caved. That's the only thing
Yeah.
I mean, my two hopes in the world were Dana White and Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
It's lawsuits. That's why.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. We'll figure out a way to gamble on the WWE as much as we can.
We gamble on those marble races. Did you see those?
I saw that. I saw that.
But
I'm going to teach my kids how to gamble. That's just all there is to it. We're going to play black. We're going to have tourneys.
No, teach them how to count cards.
Yeah.
Because the casinos
good.
will teach yourself to count cards. Casinos will be so happy to see you, they won't be
paying attention.
I think Randazzo has the shakes. He was betting on UFC over the weekend. He was just he goes, do you know any of these guys?
Did you know this? I was 15-5 in all XFL games.
And it stole away.
It stole away.
And it's gone forever.
I was 50. It's not gone forever. Stockings.
XFL will not be back.
That you're wrong. I was 15-5.
I'm with the stockpile.
I was 15-5.
We are not
every
the
game.
XFL is dead.
No, it's not.
The ratings have tanked.
I cannot believe Vincent Kennedy McMahon bailed on the XFL.
He did.
Again.
Don't you say that. Don't you do
because
that. Don't you do
seriously.
That.
He let Owen Hart die in a ring, and he just said, "Show's going on." Drag his ass out.
And they even said that we'll see you in 2021. They're coming back, and everyone's getting paid too. They're paying everybody. Like obviously you don't get paid for the bonus for the win, but.
Did you enjoy Raw on Monday? Stone Cold.
No,
it was weird.
No, I did not like.
I just don't know how this thing of WrestleMania.
Again, for those of you who don't watch it, like it's weird. They a lot of the promos are choreographed. Yeah, and you have Becky Lynch out there, and she cuts a promo, and then like turns to an empty stadium and raises her championship belt. I was like,
how about Stone Cold going to all four corners when nobody's there?
He know better. He was there before everything was choreographed. Like, don't do that. Like. When they're supposed to be at home, and be like, "Oh, that's my corner."
But maybe that's the.
Yeah. When they walk backstage, they're like, "That is the weirdest thing I've probably ever done in my life."
And that's the other thing, like, because
I would sit and watch him, just have him throw beers in there and have him throw beer on himself.
What
all
made
day.
me think of it, and Stone Cold was the wrong.
That's all he did, pretty much.
Stone
Kicked
Cold
the
was
guy
the
in
wrong
nuts.
one, but for like the newer people, like I understand that because Vince was always the type. You've heard the story about Eric Bischoff when he didn't the first time he applied for WWE. Vince said, like, interview this mop.
Yeah.
And he made him hold a mop and try to sell the entire interview. So I was like, when I saw the younger guys, I was like, I get what he's doing here. He's trying to see who's going to grab the brass ring. But you don't do that Stone Cold. Stone Cold just goes out there and he tells everyone what Stone Cold should have done is go out there.
He doesn't need to sell anything.
You know, kick ass, kick this coronavirus ass, and don't take anything from anyone. And I don't know. WrestleMania is going to be weird, but if they let it back in the bars, we'll have it on because we need something like we need something on.
Do we know if dancing clubs have shut down? Lady clubs.
Oh,
okay.
You know what? A friend of mine sent me a text that up in like the Cedar Rapids area.
Yeah.
That I think it was Monday night. The full parking lot at one of the.
See, well, you know what it's going to become like. It's going to become like the red light district.
Hey, those.
And they're going to be dancing in like their windows. You're going to have to drive through with your car.
People got to earn
So
a
do
living.
we really not know if the lady?
I don't know. I haven't heard it. That's the one thing. The one business I haven't heard.
Because it's bring your own.
It is BYOB. Bring your own Purell too. I'm assuming.
God.
There's no food. There's BYOB.
Yeah.
There's no way that's mass gatherings. Does that fall into that? But you can't
during
say
the
that.
day. There's only like 3 or 4 people in
Not
there.
anymore. There's not.
A lot of bored people.
I'm just asking because I have nothing to do the rest of the day. So if
I understand
open,
they do. I'm not cakes. I'm not saying that they cannot be
The
open.
girls
I'm
at
saying,
Mons Venus and Tampa have to make a living.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm just wondering if they are still open. That's all.
I don't know.
But now with the Buccaneers selling out, they'll have plenty of new customers. But how long will they stay if Brady reverts back to the way he was last year? The last year and a half essentially, because the Patriots won that Super Bowl on defense.
It's very curious what
and
he's gonna
last
do.
year, Brady looked really off the second half of the year. In the first half of the year, the Patriots defense were scoring at a phenomenal rate, and then when they stopped, they lost to Baltimore. They only beat Philly 17-10, Dallas 13-9. They lost to Houston.
Trash.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
He's going to be throwing to Mike Evans and Chris Goodwin.
But he was still struggling to throw the ball. And, like I posted last night on Twitter, what's going to happen first? He's either going to throw – is he going to throw a TD, an interception, or start screaming at his receivers for running the wrong routes like he did in New England?
He's going to do the same thing.
Hey, if
because
somebody as bad as Jameis can do well with those guys.
Stocking,
he's going to be the
Winston
same.
was a 30-30 guy. 33 touchdowns, 30 interceptions.
Yeah.
I don't think, Brady's not going to throw 30 interceptions, but the line is not that strong. They don't have a running game, and their defense is not that good. And in New England, the New England defense propped up Brady. I think New England will have a better record than Tampa Bay, because here's the thing. Bill Belichick.
It's a different division.
Bill Belichick has won with.
Yes,
Bill Belichick has won with Eric Zaire and Vinny Testaverde at Cleveland. In New England, he won with Matt Castle. He won with Jimmy Garoppolo and Jacoby Brissett. We don't know what Brady will do without Belichick.
He's gonna.
We do not know that.
Can I take you sports betting with me when sports come back?
I don't bet.
You don't have to. I will.
The Bucks have the Bucks have a top 10 offensive line. You mentioned their wide receiver. You mentioned their wide receiver.
Their tackles are weak.
What they can bring out of OJ, and if they sign Gordon in the offseason as a free agent, they have a running back.
How about this? I got a question for Stockpile.
Yes.
Fantasy football draft this fall. Who is your first pick?
Ooh.
Hold
on, let me get a piece of paper.
I usually when I have the first pick, I usually take Phillip Rivers. The last couple of years, I've taken him in the first round, so I'd probably, for old time's sake, take Phillip.
So if you want to take betting advice, just look at this. This is a guy. The betting advice you're getting is from someone who would pick Phillip Rivers, number 1 overall.
But here's
in a league with Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson, I think, is going to be a one-hit wonder.
Oh,
he went there.
Stockpile. I'm so happy that we get to talk up there. How often you're going to come back this week?
Awesome.
How much you're coming back this week, because there's so much more to talk about. Whatever. This is great. A one-hit wonder.
My mom's happy. My mom just turned 68. She's happy that the Bears are going to be moving off of Mitchell Trubisky.
I think that was the dumbest move ever. I think they should have kept him.
I tweeted out that this was not a good move, and I got demolished a little bit by people. Who do you want then? And I was like, anybody but him.
Nick Foles is probably the best pickup they could get. I mean, Newton's got a surgically repaired foot. No one knows how long he's going to be serviceable, or if he's even going to be able to play like he used to. And Winston, nobody wants Jameis Winston. I mean, he's a turnover machine. I mean, he's your first 30-30 guy in the NFL.
He's not free. He's in contract still, right?
Who? Well, the Bears would have to trade for Newton because he's not, unless the Panthers release him.
Yeah, they can release him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is, that's very possible. So,
but why release him when you could get like a draft pick from somebody desperate like the Bears?
Well, okay, I know the Bears aren't very good about the whole thing of negotiating trades, but maybe they can just hold out a little bit longer, and then they can be like, all right, this is where it's going to go.
By the way, University of Iowa just sent out an email to all students that classes will be online for the remainder of the semester.
That's not surprising.
Wow.
At all.
Okay.
Hey, before we change anything, I want to put this out there for the Quad Cities. A friend of mine, Matt Stern, just actually created a group called QC Emergency Takeout and Delivery. It's a public group. It's on Facebook. You can go ahead and add yourself. I'm going to invite a bunch of my friends. And what it is that all the local restaurants are going to be posting their menus, their hours, their takeout, their delivery service, and things like that. So you can go in and rather than give your money to Grubhub or any major corporations like that, you can give that money to local restaurants.
Yeah.
Do me a favor, Bomber. You can make a comment on there too and tag us on there it's Don't Hassle's logo, but at QC Hassle, and say Matt's always got free time to come and talk about what he's doing there, and people can tag themselves. He can come on the radio and talk about it.
For sure.
All right, gentlemen, a lot of fun. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. It's been crazy, and I love catching up with you guys and talking about everything that we've talking about right now.
Yeah.
So
thanks for having the show.
Yes. Thanks.
Yeah. No, we'll continue to have it. We get off the air here. I'm going to ask you guys about your schedule, and figure out when we can have you guys back in again real soon, because it's just fun. It's the more voices, the better. To be honest with you, it makes. I know we're not supposed to be in large gatherings, but it's been a lot of fun. So.
This is a large gathering?
I know this isn't a large gathering, but again, it's just fun to have you guys in. But you guys have time, too, that you need to take care of as well. So you guys have everyone out there have a hassle-free Wednesday. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care, Quad Cities. Be safe.
Bye-bye.
From the Sheedy Family Chiropractic Studios, this is the Quad Cities Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM, KPOB, Davenport.